What it is, what it do? You already know who it is. It's your boy, JQilin here, back with another episode of Doki Doki Blue Skies. Last episode, we went through Sad Yuri Hours Part 2, and we're going to see what this episode brings us. I don't know what'll happen, but I'm excited to find out. If you are too, you already know what to do. Hit the like button and stay tuned, because here we go. For once, it seems like Yuri and I are at a loss. Are the last ones in the club.
Wow. Looks like the lovebirds are late. Had a secret tryst on your way over here?
A blush spreads across Yuri's face that makes even me feel embarrassed. No! Besides, we're not even late.
Thou dost protest too much, methinks.
Save it, Shakespeare. That is from Shakespeare, actually. Hamlet, to be specific. Trust in Yuri to know every single literary reference there is. Don't tell me that we're going to start a unit on Shakespeare in the club now.
Haha, don't worry. I won't inflict that on you guys. Not right now, at least.
I can't tell if she's being serious or not.
Anyway, now that everyone's here, we can start our meeting.
Natsuki and Sayori pop out of the closet to join the conversation. I guess Sayori was helping Natsuki, helping reorganize Natsuki's manga or something?
Qilin, Yuri, you're finally here!
Finally? What's that supposed to mean? It's like, what are you talking about, Sayori?
Obviously, it means that you two are slowpokes.
How many times am I going to have to say that we weren't late?
Haha, all in good fun, Qilin. So, what did everyone do over the weekend?
The weekend? It's kind of surreal to think that people are going about their days normally while Yuri and I were talking about such dark subject matters.
Homework and manga for me.
That sounds about right.
I had to do some part-time work too.
Oh? What kind of work is that?
I bet it was something cute, like a waitress job at a maid cafe. What? Who do you think I am? What? Who do you think I am? It was, this and that.
Spoiler alert, it actually was her working at a maid cafe.
Sayori, what did you do?
Guess she doesn't want to talk about it, given her sudden change in the subject. Maybe she really is working at a maid cafe.
I caught up on sleep.
Sayori, you sleep in every day. There's no way you need to catch up on sleep. You do when you're depressed.
Nini, you can never have too much sleep. I can definitely relate to that. I never have enough sleep myself. I remember when Qilin saw me having bags under my eyes for days. Bags for days, boys and girls, bags for days.
She sighs, a wry smile on her face.
Not only do I have cram school and tennis practice every day, but I also have to deal with class rep and club duties.
Jeez, humble brag much? Yo, what a throwback to 2018 when humble bragging was still a thing. Don't you ever have any time to yourself?
Time to myself? What's that? Is that something people actually have? I thought that existed in TV. Not that I would know, because I don't even watch TV, I'm too busy. Free time? To be honest, I'm busy so often that it's kind of a foreign concept to me. That's what I get for setting up for so many things, though.
It can be truly surprising what a single person is capable of.
Oh, that's just an exaggeration. There are a lot of downsides to this kind of lifestyle.
Monika's face visibly falls. It does sound kind of hellish to not have time to yourself. That's because it is hell not having time to yourself. You can't recuperate. You can't, recharge yourself. You just run yourself ragged until you run into the ground. In which case you might just burn out and fade away. Does she even hang out with friends outside of school?
Enough about me. What are you doing, Yuri?
Oh, if you heard that, that was my tablet. Yuri gives me a pleading glance. Yuri and I hung out over the weekend. We talked a lot about stuff.
Wow, what a lovey-dovey couple. Oh, what a lovey-dovey couple you are.
And Yuri's like, yes, I don't have to explain anything.
Well, thanks for saving the PDA for the weekends.
Noski pantomimes barfing, causing Sari to giggle. Like, when you guys start dating, I'm gonna return all the teasing tenfold. Isn't that right, Yuri? And Yuri's like, don't bring me into this. I don't really plan on teasing them. Well, I might, just not right now. I suppose so.
Well, looks like we all have supremely exciting lives, eh? We're really living on the edge, all right. How about we keep up the excitement and share our poetry now?
Crap! I totally forgot to write a poem. Not that I won't blame you though. You've been really busy, you know. You had a lot going on over the weekend. So I just like, bro, it's all good, man. Hold on. I kind of have to talk to Yuri first, privately. Yuri shoots me a curious look, and everyone's like, oh, bro, what gives? Why I gotta talk to her all of a sudden? What, is everything okay?
Yeah? Alright, we can just...
It might be a long conversation, so you guys could go ahead and share poetry first. Alright, good.
Is everyone else okay with that? Yuri?
Everyone nods in affirmation.
Okay then. Don't take too long.
You bet I'm gonna take as long as possible. He's like, oh, he's gonna stall because he doesn't have a poem to share. Oh, that's hysterical. Hey, neither him nor Yuri would have poems to share. Unless Yuri worked on her poem on Friday before she came over. Alright, come on Yuri, let's step outside for a bit. So, what was it that you wanted to talk to me about? Oh, well, to be honest, I need a distraction because I forgot to write a poem. Killin. Sorry. Wait, don't go back in. Yuri sighs, then smiles patronizingly. Thanks for putting up with me. And now that I think about it, there is something I wanted to talk to you about anyway. I actually thought of it during the conversation back inside, but... Yuri, are you going to tell the others about your self-harm? No! She immediately panics at my question. I didn't mean right now. Sorry, I just meant eventually. When you're comfortable, of course. I see. Sorry, Killin, but I don't know if I'd ever be able to tell them, even in the future. Why not? Wouldn't you want your friends to know what's going on in your life? They could provide as much support as I do, only multiplied by 4. No. No? Yuri looks down at the ground, not meeting my eyes. I can't. I wouldn't be able to stand it if they started treating me differently. Can't things just stay the same? Please? Yuri? I mean, to be fair, she does have a point. Like, what would happen if she came out and says, hey guys, there's something I need to tell you. When I get very anxious, I like to take it out of myself with a knife or a blade. It just slices across my skin like this in a very slick motion and feel the pain and the rush that comes with it. So that's my dark secret. And then everyone just either freaks out or they start patronizing her. And then Yuri loses that thing that she got by being in the club in the first place. She's terrified of that. And rightfully so. Because if things start to change, she no longer has a place to feel like herself. And then what is she gonna do? That's not gonna be good for her. You even said it yourself. Sometimes change is necessary.
I didn't say that. I said that change isn't necessarily bad. But in this case, it's neither necessary nor positive. All it will do is change how others see me.
But how can you, well, get better without people supporting you and standing by your side? Well, buddy, that's what you're there for. You have to support her and stand by her side. And over time, if she feels comfortable enough, she may open up to the others. But right now, that's not your call to make. That's her call. Your call is to just like I said, support and stand by her. That's your call.
Look, Qilin, even you see me differently now. Don't try to argue otherwise. It's only to be expected. I know you're trying your best.
Yuri,
Please, just let this matter go.
Alright. If you're not comfortable talking about it, I won't force you to.
Thank you. Now, if you'll excuse me.
She slides the door open and slips through. Oof. We're left all by ourselves. We don't want to be all by ourselves. But we are. I can't help but feel this is a conversation that we'll return to later. Why? You don't need to. It's not really important for the others right now to know what Yuri is going through. They technically don't even need to know. Necessarily. She told you because you and her are close enough to be able to warrant that kind of thing. And plus, you wouldn't even have known about it if you didn't stumble into the bathroom while Yuri was in the middle of the act. That's the only reason you know. And it's like, if and when Yuri feels comfortable enough, she'll maybe tell the other people, but that's up to her. That's something you don't need to do, man. You don't provoke her and make her feel uncomfortable about how she feels. Like, you can't tell her how to live her life just because she told you something she hasn't told anybody else. The thing you're supposed to do right now is to take what she said, be as understanding as possible, and just continue to support her. You see her differently now, and that's true. I would see her differently. I would see my significant other differently too if she told me the things that Yuri told me. But I would try to be as understanding as I can and support it while not trying to make a big deal about it. Because if you make a bigger deal about it, you only make that person more uncomfortable and they'll make them regret telling you about it in the first place. And that's exactly the kind of thing you want to avoid. Anyway, at least she knows where I stand on the subject. Yeah, but this is gonna get ugly, man. Of course, it's difficult for me to understand her point of view sometimes, but I really do think that she should confide in others too, not just me. In her own time. Give it time. For now, though, I just have to figure out an excuse for forgetting my poem. Alright, well, I guess we won't figure out what that excuse is. We're just gonna skip on through to the next day. Cool. It's crazy to think about how fast time is flying by. It seemed like only yesterday I found out about Yuri's self-harming tendencies. As I'm absentmindedly thumbing through my phone, I'm once again reminded that February has already started. The past few weeks felt like they haven't even happened at all. Oh, so we just skipped through all of January. I guess nothing of note happened in January. So we're probably gonna get to the anniversary of Yuri's parents' death. And that might be an emotional turning point in the story. We'll see. Well, I guess that's not strictly true. I mean, yeah, in many ways, life remained the same. We're still a couple, school hasn't changed much, we still go to the literature club. But despite the apparent normality, things feel different. For obvious reasons, I guess. A pang of anxiety shoots through me. I don't think I'll ever get that scene out of my head. When I first saw her, razor in hand, blood on the floor. Even after a few weeks, the image is still burned into my mind. Really? I thought I would have had enough time to kind of get adjusted to that. You know what's weird? It's like they have these time skips, right, to justify like different points of the story taking place at different time. But the way things are written, it's like they're happening. It's like everything's happening consecutively, like back to back to back, which kind of negates the whole aspect of a time skip. Because during the time skip, it should be implied that people had time to get used to things, people had time to adjust things, people be more accepting of things, so on and so forth. So the time skips, the writing should be consistent with the time skipping, unless the main character walking in on Yuri in the bathroom is just so traumatizing that it's just taking it this long to just not get over it. I mean, I don't know, that could be the case. The other girls are still oblivious, and Yuri stands on whether or not she should tell them hasn't changed at all. But that's Yuri's thing to do. You should, I mean, I understand you want her friends to support you, which is good. I get that, but at the same time, this is Yuri's thing. Don't overstep your bounds, my dude. I sigh and wearily rub my hands through my hair. What am I meant to do? Perhaps I should. Oh, okay. Wait. I feel like a choice is coming on. My mystical and otherworldly powers. Oh, never mind. One day, my phone will stop interrupting me when I'm deep in thought. Hey, Mom.
Hi, Kilin. It's been so long.
It really has, hasn't it? When was the last time we talked?
My goodness, I think it was before Halloween. That means it's been...
Jeez, before Halloween? Bro? You missed November, you missed Christmas, you missed January, 3 months? Bro, it's already February. You missed 3 months, bro? Dang. Well, almost 3 months. Around 3 months. Jeez.
Anyway, what's new? Oh, actually, what about Yuri? Are you guys together yet?
It's like, well, Mom, we've been together since, New Year's. It's like, well... I could practically hear the anticipation through the phone screen. Yeah, we are.
I had a feeling you'd tell me that. Look at you, my little prince, all grown up.
Mom, really? Little prince?
Sorry. It's just that from a mother's perspective. Well, your son's first girlfriend is big news. I can't wait to meet her.
You only get to meet her if you promise not to embarrass me when she's over. Ah, yes. Ah. Ah, man. I'm looking forward. Looking forward to that. That'll be great. Next time I get a lady friend, especially one that my mom will like. Oh, my mom's gonna embarrass the heck out of me. I know it'll all be in good fun, but still. Ooh, boy.
I can't make any promises.
I roll my eyes. I could practically hear the smug smirk on her face, even though we're hundreds of miles apart. Anyway. Oh yeah. December exam results.
Ooh, yes. I hope you're studying hard and got the grades you need, young man.
Don't worry. I did just fine. Sakurai gave me my results last week, and he was pretty impressed. To be honest, I was pretty surprised myself. Overall, I did well, but I really aced Japanese, history, and English.
That's excellent to hear, sweetheart. Well done.
A small laugh filters through the phone speakers. Huh? What's so funny?
I just remember you saying that Yuri is a huge fan of literature, and how she's constantly reading books, right?
Yeah?
Well, assuming you guys discussed these books, well, it's clear that she's rubbing off on you. Seems like she's really helped you appreciate literature, making you more analytical and thoughtful yourself. Clearly, it's showing in your grades.
Really? I never even thought about that. Does it happen in every relationship? Only ones where you both help each other out. Because when someone's a good influence on you and they help you become a better person, that pushes you farther in life. That's the kind of people you need in your life. People who will take you where you are and help you go further along. You don't need people that either keep you where you are or people that will slow you down. It may not feel like it at first, but some people could be very toxic in the way that they'll either keep you in the same place or slow you down.
Hard to say, really. It's definitely common, though. You spend so much more time with your partner that you subconsciously start copying their mannerisms and tendencies. And that may be useful, especially now.
Huh? Why?
It's Valentine's Day coming up soon, Killin. If her personality is rubbing off on you, you might find it easier to think of something special for her.
Ah. Well, Mom, you have a point. You're absolutely right. Even though Valentine's Day is a pagan holiday, I totally forgot about Valentine's. Also, my dog just entered the room. Hey, buddy, how are you? Everybody, Nikos is here. He wants to say hi. Oh, Nikos, buddy, you came at a bad time. I'm actually in the middle of recording an episode. It is good to see you, buddy, though. I do love you. So, like I guys told you before in the past, ever since Nikos' brother passed, he's been living inside with us now, so when he gets bored, he'll wander the house from time to time. Anyway, go, buddy. He'll take you where you need to go. Whew, sorry about that. I had a lot of stuff happen just now. You know, the dog came in, I had to go outside. Anyway, let me continue, and hopefully the rest of this episode will go by uneventfully. I totally forgot about Valentine's.
On the year that you get a girlfriend, you forget about such a romantic day?
Well, when you put it like that, it does seem a little illogical. I mean, when you're used to being, single and ready to mingle, you don't really think about Valentine's Day. You think about it as Single Awareness Day. Now in this culturally appropriated day, you're supposed to do something special for someone you love. It's like, well, there's a new expectation you're not really aware of. Well, it's not for a week, so I still got time.
Don't dawdle, sweetheart. You'd be amazed how quickly that week will zip by.
Okay. I get it. I'll think of something. Anyway, what have you been up to? Given that it's been a while since you called, I imagine work must be really busy. There's a sign on the other end.
Yes, you're right. Clients have been so demanding over the past few weeks. New projects, new technologies, new strategies. I'll be so glad when this business quarter is over.
New technologies and strategies? What do you mean?
Well, I won't bore you with all the finer details. Basically, our company has rolled out this new app. We're supposed to use it when we're talking to our clients, as it's meant to boost communication efficiency.
The only problem is, it's not exactly intuitive, rather the opposite. It isn't... There's not been much company training on how to use it. So we've basically had to do our own research on how it works. It's tedious, but better than not knowing what to do, I suppose. Anyway, unfortunately I have to go, sweetheart. It was lovely to catch up with you again, and I promise it won't be so long until we next talk, okay?
It's fine, Mom. You've been really busy, so don't worry about it.
Well, I'll see what I can do.
Huh? About what?
Oh, nothing. Forget I said anything. Bye, Killin. I love you.
Love you too, Mom. Oh, I know what she's gonna do. If anyone's watched Blue Skies, you know what she's gonna do too, but I won't spoil it for people who haven't played Blue Skies. As I put my phone back into my pocket, my mother's words continued to swirl around my head. We've had to do our own research on how it works. Maybe. Of course! The answer was right there! Why didn't I research self-harm on the internet before? Man, I can be really dumb sometimes. You sure can, my friend. You sure can. Either way, it's probably best that I research this with Yuri. Why? Yuri probably doesn't want to talk about this. And Yuri has a lot of experience in this firsthand because she's been doing it for so long. You should probably research it by yourself so you have a better idea about what Yuri is going through, and even better ways to help her cope with it. You could even find out different ways for her to cope and suggest it to her when the time is right. Did you think of it that way? No, because like you said, you're really dumb sometimes. And sometimes is more like most of the time. After all, it concerns her, right? Phone in hand, I flick through my meager contact list and click on her name. Hello, Yuri? What are you up to? Wait, what? Oh. I was like... I was like, oh wait, what? I read that completely backwards.
Hello, Killin. What are you up to?
Oh, whoop. Oh, I need to go back. That's what I need to do. Not much. Hey, do you mind if I come over?
You want to come to my house?
Yeah. Is that alright?
Yes, I suppose so. I'll see you soon, then.
Click. Huh. So it's my first time going to Yuri's house, huh? Strange to think that's the first time it's happening, even though we've known each other for months. Yeah, she's only came over to your place. After exchanging a kiss, I take a seat on the bed, right next to Yuri. She's blushing slightly. Oh wow, we just skipped the whole traveling process of getting over there, building up the anticipation of finally seeing what her place is like. We don't get to see the living room, the kitchen, or anything. We share a kiss when we're in the bedroom. Nice bedroom, by the way. Forget to... I think it's what, S? Yeah, it is S, okay. Nice bedroom, by the way. You know, your bedroom looks exactly how I imagined it would.
What do you mean?
It just looks really elegant and tidy. Much like you. And of course, only you would have a huge bookshelf right next to your bed. How many times have we tried to reach over to the bookshelf while you were snuggling under the sheets? She smiles bashfully. It never stops being heartwarming.
Maybe a few times. By the way, Killin?
Hmm?
Would you like to see my,
Get your mind out of the gutter, Yuri. It's like, would you like to see my... Yes! Whatever, I would love to see your... Whatever it is, yes, I want to see it. Your... What? I'm painfully aware of the suggestive tone the conversation has suddenly adopted. He's like, you're... What? Whoa, what do you want to show me, Yuri? She's probably going to say her knife collection. Judging by the furious blushing on Yuri's face, it's safe to say that I'm not the only one.
Although you probably think it's really weird.
Wait. Are we thinking of different things? Yes, you are! She reaches towards her desk and pulls out a medium-sized black box.
Well, you remember how I said I had a knife collection?
A wave of understanding washes over me. I have to fight the urge to laugh at myself. My god, this situation could have been made a million times more awkward. Oh, you want to show me your knives?
You're not weirded out by it?
Nah. At one point I was tempted to get you a knife for Christmas, but I figured you already had a few. Besides, I don't know what type of knives you like. I'm kinda curious, to be honest. I never met someone who collects them. So yeah, go ahead. Apprehension still visible on her face. After swallowing nervously, she gently opens the lid. Ah yes, the gently opening cliche. Can't have a DDLC mod without that. Wow. You weren't kidding when you said you had a collection, were you?
Sorry, I know it must be really weird. I don't know why I even suggested it.
She moves to snap the lid shut, but I reach out and gently grasp her hands. Surprise flickers across her features as she looks at me. If I look closely, I could detect shame in her eyes. It's not weird at all. I accepted who you are a long time ago, Yuri. Please don't feel ashamed. Please don't feel ashamed. Plus, I really want to see these knives of yours.
Really?
I smile reassuringly at her. Yes.
If you're sure.
She gingerly reopens the box and pulls out a small knife. Is this one a dagger? It looks too small to be a knife.
It is indeed. This one actually comes from the 18th century, and if I recall, is also from Spain.
Spanish, huh? A Spanish dagger. I slowly take the dagger from Yuri and hold it in my hands. The hilt is silver, and the blade comes with a golden sheath. Wow, that sounds pretty nice, actually. Carefully, I unsheath it.
This one isn't particularly sharp, but I would still recommend exercising caution.
I turn it over in my hands. It's not exactly a large weapon, but its craftsmanship is undeniable.
During the Renaissance age, a dagger such as this one was actually used as part of everyday dress. In fact, daggers were the only weapons that commoners were permitted to carry. The dagger was very popular in Spain, where it was referred to as either a daga or a puñal.
Yeah, I believe in places like South America and Latin America, it would be more so referred to as a puñal. But yeah, that sounds about right. It's pretty cool. I sheath the knife and hand it back to Yuri, who puts it back into the box. You really know your stuff, huh? It's really admirable how intelligent you are. Books, science, knives? Is there any limit to your knowledge? She blushes and averts her eyes into the box.
You're too kind, Qilin.
My eyes are drawn by a rather large, curved knife that sits in the middle of the box. Was it a Bowie knife or a kukri? Wow, this one has a really cool shape. As you move away from the base of the blade, it curves to the side to a point where the head is at a very different angle.
Ah, this one has a fascinating history.
Her face is lit up, and passion flares beneath her eyes. It's the type of fervor I see only when she's talking about her books. Oh, it is a kukri. I was right. The only reason I know about that is thanks to Team Fortress 2, that being the sniper's base weapon of choice. Well, base melee weapon of choice.
It's actually called the kukri, and it's an icon of Nepal. Do you see how the head of the blade is at an angle? It gives the kukri immense chopping power. You see, it isn't a knife designed to stab or slice, although you can, of course, still do that. The head and weight of the blade is meant that it's very efficient and very effective at cutting through flesh. In fact, it's even able to cleanly chop limbs off.
I think I know a few fictional serial killers who would love to use a weapon like this. But what's this little notch above the handle?
Essentially, it's to stop blood from dripping onto the user's hands. That will make the handle slippery and impractical.
Man, I had no idea such thought went into the design of these things. To me, knives are just simple cutting tools with a straight edge. Guess it goes to show how much I know.
I don't blame you for thinking like that. An interest in knives is hardly the norm, so it's a given that you wouldn't give them that much thought.
She holds the kukri up, and slowly she turns it in her hands. From her expression, it's clear that she is admiring the blade. I'll admit that it's a little unusual. After all, if someone told me that one day I'd be looking at my girlfriend admiring a dangerous weapon, I wouldn't believe them. But being with Yuri, it's opened my eyes. It's helped me see that people have a variety of interests. In a way, it's refreshing to see such uniqueness in a person. What is it about knives that you like so much? I remember you talked about it a long time ago, but I can't remember what it is that you said.
There are many reasons, some of which make more sense than others, I suppose. Let's start with a simple reason, the craftsmanship. An untold number of hours go into creating the knives as you see them. The weight, the feel, the sharpness, the length, the design, the color. There's also the rather dark association that knives have. Qilin, am I wrong in thinking that there's something inherently fascinating with the macabre?
Well, no, you're not necessarily wrong, because the macabre is taboo, and the macabre is something that people don't like to think about. And it's because people don't like to think about it is what makes it so interesting. It's like when you see a big train wreck or a big car crash on a highway and you drive past it. Part of you is like, oh, I don't really want to look at that. That's horrible. But also part of you is like, I really want to look at that and see what's going on. I wonder if I could see someone really badly hurt. You know, it's that kind of duality that we're kind of ashamed to talk about, but it's that part that we're ashamed to talk about that makes it all the more fascinating.
We're taught to fear the darkness, but there's something so intriguing about it.
You know, if I think about it, I can see what you mean. Like, if we take Halloween for example, it's pretty much a festival dedicated to the dead, right? Yeah, it's pretty commercialized, but I've always enjoyed it. Telling ghost stories, scaring each other, seeing all the gruesome costumes people wear. Yuri nods in earnest.
Fear is such an enigma. Different people fear different things. Some people love horror movies, yet others balk at the very thought.
You know, she and Scarecrow from Batman would get along very well.
And when it comes to knives, well, you only need to look at the world around you to see what kind of reputation they have. And knives never judge you.
Have you ever used these knives to cut yourself? Oh boy. Wait. Boom! Hitting out of the park with these questions, man. Just getting right to it. I immediately berate myself for asking such a question like that. It sounded way less insensitive in my head. I'm just saying, bro, I don't like this freaking guy. This freaking guy, bro, man. I swear, this freaking guy, man. Oh my days, bro. Oh my days. This freaking guy.
I'm surprised you even had to ask that.
You have so many, and a lot of these knives look really big, and they look really sharp. Yuri stays silent. I'm just worried about you, that's all. More silence. It's growing more uncomfortable by the second.
I know you are, Qilin. And it means a lot to me that you care. I was so afraid that you'd break up with me once you saw my scars.
Break up with you? No, of course not. If anything, it made me want to be with you more.
Why?
Choose your words very carefully now. Because seeing your scars made me want to be with you more. Why? Oh, because I felt bad for you and now I want to date you. I'm dating you out of pity. is basically the answer she doesn't want to hear. So if you say anything remotely close to that, she's going to feel some type of way. Excuse me, she's going to feel some type of way, and you're not going to be a happy camper. Well, I want to see you get better. If that's the route you want to go, you could have said something along the lines of, well, I found it really surprising when I saw that, but it made me want to get to understand you a little bit better. And I think that through our relationship, I could learn more about you, and over time, maybe this is something we could work through together. That would have been a better way to go about that. But if you just said, I want to see you get better, it sounds like you're kind of pitying her, and you're just being there, and you're being there out of pity. That's kind of how it sounds. But let's see how Yuri responds. And I actually wanted to do some research on self-harm with you, and look at some therapy options, but
That won't be necessary.
the finality in Yuri's voice stops me dead. I've only heard such assertion in her voice maybe once? Why not?
Because I don't want to go to therapy.
Don't you want to stop cutting?
Self-harming is the only way I've ever known to deal with my issues. It's the only way I've been able to express myself.
It's a pretty crappy way to express yourself, I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, you have your poetry. Couldn't you just, I don't know, take up art? Take up music? I don't know, start exercising or something? But we both know it's not a healthy way to deal with your feelings, Yuri. What if you cut too deeply? Or, I don't know, cut a vein or something.
I won't. I've studied this extensively. I know where to and where not to cut. I know which places are safe to cut and which specific areas to avoid.
That doesn't make me feel much better, you know.
I'm sorry.
She sighs deeply.
To be honest, I knew that you'd eventually ask me to try therapy. I know it's probably hard for you to see it like this, but for me, it's really not that simple.
Well, therapy usually never is that simple, especially for people that could, really afford to have therapy. It's always the people that really could afford to have therapy that never feel like they need to have therapy. And it's the people that kind of need therapy, but maybe could deal with it on their own, that love therapy the most. It's kind of like the oxymoronic nature of therapy. So, usually in that case, the best therapy someone could give is just being close to them. In a way, it kind of sucks, but at the same time, we all have our ways of dealing with things, and if you could find a way to help somebody deal with their issues, even if it's not with therapy, then by all means, that's better than nothing. Understandably so, you may not be trained to deal with that kind of thing, right? But if you're close enough to that person, you could basically know that person, how to deal with them better than any therapist could, though, at least. So in that instance, you actually could be pretty helpful, one, and two, providing your own kind of therapy without even calling it therapy. Then help me understand. Please.
If I must. Although I warn you, you're not going to understand at all. Anyway.
She reaches into the box and takes out a silver knife. As she speaks, it rolls between her fingers, taking utmost care not to accidentally cut herself.
Like I said, self-harming has been the only way I've been able to deal with my feelings. And yes, I know it's maladaptive. But you have to understand that for me, it's like a routine. It may not be a good approach, but it's the only approach I have. And what is the whole point of therapy? To get me to stop self-harming? In other words, losing the only way I've ever known to control myself. I simply couldn't imagine another way of dealing with things.
Well, have you tried anything else? That's my question.
Plus, the thought of opening up to a complete stranger about my innermost insecurities is simply unimaginable.
Well, that's one of the big issues too. Like, people don't want to open up to strangers. Unless you're the kind of person who just likes to be naturally talkative anyway. But people who like really keep to themselves and have people who've experienced a lot of trauma like to keep to themselves, the thought of opening up to someone they don't know is completely like, they'll balk at 110%. I've seen it firsthand. That's why only people who are like really, that's why you have to, in that instance, you have to be really close to that person, really care about that person, and be very patient, understanding with that person if you want a ghost of a chance at helping them, at understanding them and helping them deal with their issues. Because I've seen it firsthand, and that's what I do.
I hid it from my parents. I hid it from you. The only reason you knew about my habit was simply through chance. There's an awful lot of vulnerability and blind trust to put into a random stranger, don't you think?
As much as I hate to admit it, yeah, I could definitely see what she means. I can see where you're coming from, but I know just what you're running from. It ain't matter who's the baddest, but the ones who stop you falling from your ladder, because this ain't no place for a hero. It's easy for me to stand here and ask her to see a therapist, but it's a whole different story for her.
If it's any consolation, Qilin, I don't exactly cut frequently. I won't deny that it still happens, but ever since we started dating, it happens a little less.
Really?
Yes. Having someone to talk to. Someone who's open-minded, who's willing to listen to me ramble on about literature or look at knives with me. It does make a difference.
See? It's like I said, at the end of the day, as long as you're close to that person, you're willing to understand them, you're willing to be open-minded with them, and you're willing to be patient with them, it does make a difference at the end of the day and help them cope. So if you have somebody like that in your life, just be close to them and be open-minded with them, be patient with them. And the more they feel like they can trust you, the more they'll open up to you. And the more they open up to you, the more you'll be able to help them. And the more you'll be able to help them, the more you'll be able to help them cope. And gradually over time, you'll help them get over these things. There's a gift that we have in all of us, given by the Most High, that if you really care about somebody and you connect with them spiritually, it really can make a difference, even in the most, most closed off of people. It's a really beautiful thing, man. And I've seen it firsthand. But it's just something you gotta feel, and it's something you gotta believe in wholeheartedly. It's something you can't half step, because if you do, it's not gonna work out for you or for that person. She slowly inches her face closer to mine.
It's amazing how much of a difference just one person can make. So thank you.
She tentatively reaches her arms out for a hug. I comply instantly and pull her close. Her head rests against my chest. At first I thought I was going to say his head rests against her chest, and I was going to be like, nice! But this is nice too. Yuri, look, I get it. I know you don't want to see a therapist. But can you at least promise me that you'll think about it? For my sake, or for yours? She looks up at me.
Qilin.
Please, I'm serious. I mean, look, you have to respect the fact that she doesn't want to. As much as you would like her to, you have to respect the fact that how she feels. So, like I said, at least at the end of the day, you say, okay. Yeah, I respect the fact that you don't want to do that. Then I'll at least be here for you. I'm not a therapist, but I'm me, and I'm there for you. So that's all that matters, really. I know you don't want to, but this isn't something I can ignore.
Oh, okay. I promise that I'll at least consider it. But please don't get your hopes up, okay?
Alright. That's all I can ask for now. She nods slowly.
By the way, I've been meaning to ask you. Would you like to read the first ghost story I've ever read with me?
You've still got it with you?
Of course. It's one of the strongest reminders I have of my parents.
Sadness flickers over her features. I'm quick to reply. Of course. Where is it? She motions to a book resting snugly on the bookshelf next to her bed. Even though it's a little sad to think about how the book serves as a memory for dead parents, it's endearing that it's so close to her bed. Almost like a guardian that watches her while she sleeps. Man, Mom was right. I really do sound like Yuri. Yeah, it sounds about right. Oh, good guy killing. Good guy killing. But this is nice though. I mean, I have slight problems with the way that Killen is handling these things. I do feel like he's being a little too pushy in regards to how Yuri is trying to deal with her own issues. And I feel like this is some things that people kind of get wrong, is that when someone tells them that something is wrong with them, they immediately start thinking of the things that person should do without considering how that person feels. It took a lot out of them to tell you that happened to them, especially if you found out about it by chance. If you found out by chance, they weren't expecting to tell you, and then they ended up telling you anyway, that really took a lot out of them. So then when you as a person come and start trying to say, oh, well, you should do this, or you should do that, why don't you tell these people? Why don't you do this? And you haven't stopped to think about, well, they probably thought about that, and there's a reason why they haven't done it already. Otherwise, they would have done that very thing you're telling them about. And some people just can't seem to understand that. And I feel like, and then that person begins to feel misunderstood, or worse, they regret telling you about their problems in the first place. And then they'll want to distance themselves from you because they feel like, oh, well, you're just like all the other people. I don't even know why I trusted you in the first place. And that could do more harm than good. It's like how they say the path to hell is paved with good intentions. You mean well, and that's the sad thing. Is you mean well for that person. You really care about them. The problem is that you're going about it the wrong way. There's a certain way to go about these things. And the way you go about it is that you really have to be empathetic and see things from the other person's point of view. You have to understand that as much as you want to be there as much as you want to help them, you can't force them to do something that they either don't want to do or they're not ready for. It's like trying to be like those, at the airports, how they have those little conveyor belts that you get on and they move you throughout the airport. You can't be a conveyor belt forcing somebody around to where they need to go. You have to be more like a torch in their hand or a lantern that they're holding, that they are finding their own way. They're finding their own way where they're going, but because of the light that you provide them, it makes them feel warmer, it makes them feel safer, and it helps guide the path that they're on, so that they can eventually, with enough support and with enough warmth and light from you, they could eventually guide themselves to the right destination. And that's the way I think more people need to handle these kind of situations. If you find somebody in your life that's like this, but you also have to be very careful if you're the type of person who can't handle being with somebody like this in a relationship, whether it be friendship wise or romantic wise. If you're not the type of person who has the social or emotional maturity to be able to interact with people like this, then it's best you just not deal with them, because you can end up doing more harm than good, and that would just be bad for all parties involved. I mean, like I've said many times before, I've seen it firsthand, and thankfully I've been blessed with enough emotional intelligence and maturity to be able to interact with people like this. And to a certain extent, I guess that's why people like that are drawn to me in the first place, because I have a way of basically helping them cope with things and to heal. So, Anyway, I thought I would just share that. I realized that I'm probably like rambling and stuff like that, but somebody out there probably needed to hear this, and in that case, you're welcome. I hope what I said made a difference for you. In any case, I think this episode's gone long enough. I'll be signing out for now. It's been real. It's been fun. If you're new here, subscribe if you haven't. If you haven't liked the video, like the video. If there's somebody out there who needs to hear this, or you want to send this to a friend, be sure to share this video with them, and maybe the words that I have will help make a difference for them. It's been real. It's been fun. It's your boy JQilin. Ciao for now.